Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, apologies, because I know this is a Norwegian session, but you will have to bear with my English for the time being. Thank you for having me being here today. I'm very happy to be talking about our little history regarding our little effort in helping to save this planet. Let me get my clicker first. We're talking about a significant technology shift. It's a huge shift from the internal combustion engine. And we saw that, and we're still seeing that as a great opportunity for everybody to be reckoned with. We're in trouble. As a world citizen, our CO2 environment is getting terrible. So recently, the Dutch government announced that they will cut the cattle by half. They will not issue any additional licenses for construction sites unless they are proven that they're using electrical equipment on site. So a lot of these efforts are being put in place. Fantastic. What we're showing here, and I'm sure all of you are aware, it's a time chart when these CO2 reduction goals must be met. It's a good thing. And I can see that Norway is on top of the list. And that's why I'm very proud to be here to addressing a crowd that's already a believer. And this is the vehicle ban plan for the fossil fuel vehicles. And by 2025, the fossil fuel vehicles in Norway will be banned. The global electric bus has increased so much in the last 6 years. It has not been a smooth sailing because of the fact that 6, 7 years ago when we first started the journey, nobody believed in that. Everybody believed in Euro 6, that it's a better solution and that there will be a Euro 7. But I think the number has proven that it has been a tremendous growth over the last few years. Well, let me introduce you to who is BYD? What do we do? We are a company that has 230,000 employees worldwide. We are doing about $18 billion in business, but all in environmentally related areas. For example, we are doing electronics. We are doing clean automobiles. We are also doing new energies, solar panels, storage. We are also doing rail transit. Now, it's very important to recognize that these industries are kind of morphing together now. In the old days, when we talk to a bus operator, they buy a diesel bus, and that's the end of the story. But today, when I talk with an operator, they're thinking about, can I build a storage station? Can I utilize the solar panels to charge the storage station, to charge my buses in the evening? So it's become an industry that is shifting. And we are lucky to be in the forefront of this. What BYD is doing right now is we're focusing on our strategy, a strategy that we call 7+4. What are the 7 and what are the 4s? As you can see on the screen, we're focusing on coaches, electric, of course, buses, taxis, passenger cars, municipality vehicles, including cleaning vehicles, garbage vehicles, and whatever, logistic vehicles. This is becoming very difficult for us today because more and more people are ordering their Amazon.com on their phones, on their iPads. Many more deliveries are being made every day. Logistics is becoming a nightmare. The 7 also include the construction vehicles. For example, in Shenzhen, they have banned electric buses. They are also going to ban all the dumper trucks. So this is an area that we're getting into, the construction transportation. And the 4 are specific specialized industries. For example, the airports, the mines, the seaports, and also the warehousing. So we're very focused. These are the 7+4 areas that BYD is focusing our business today. Since about 10 years ago, we have delivered upwards 50,000 vehicles, 50,000 electric buses now running around the world, serving different nations. And we're very happy to be doing that. Who are we and where are we? We are a European company. We started here over 21 years ago. Our headquarters is in the Netherlands, in Rotterdam. We have 2 factories. One is located in Hungary, Beauvais, one in France, in Comaron. We're also working very proudly with our partner in the UK, Alexander Dennis, providing right-hand drive vehicles. Our Rotterdam facilities been with us since 21 years ago. We have a staff of over 130 people at this moment. We have grown from about 6 people only 7 years ago. So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, this quiet revolution, it's really taking place with electrification. A little word about our Hungarian factory. We started operation back in 2017. We're employing about 300 employees in Hungary, building vehicles in Hungary. So many of the vehicles that's being delivered today are actually coming from Hungary. We also have a factory in France, in Beauvais, about 100 kilometers north of Paris. And this factory is just coming online last year. It's also providing buses for specific markets. Where are we? Where are we operating right now? Today, actually, there are 22 countries that's operating the vehicles, the electric vehicles. That's over 100 cities. And so far, in Europe, we have delivered more than 1,000 vehicles. We're very proud of that fact. I want to talk a little bit about the success story of BYD. I think it's partnership. It's a win-win partnership. I'll take, for example, what I mentioned earlier about Alexander Dennis. We started our journey in 2013. We signed an agreement with Alexander Dennis. Back then, they were only building diesel buses and diesel coaches. They recognized the change is coming. We wanted to talk. We decided to build something together. So in 2013, March, we signed an agreement. Then later on, in 2015, we created the first electric double-decker bus. And we're very proud of that fact. It's very important because most of the buses running in London today, not single-deckers, but double-deckers. Just like here in Norway, a lot of buses are articulated buses. In London, they're double-decker buses. And then in 2016, we're able to convert one of our operators' garage into 100% electric. So if you were to go to London today, you visit Waterloo Station, it has now been converted to 100% electric. And the strange thing is we're getting thank you letters from the neighbors around it, because London is very tight, very compact. So that particular depot, it's surrounded by residential buildings. Can you imagine every morning at 5:30 in the morning when all the diesel buses are being turned on, comparing to today when the electric vehicles are being turned on? And that's why we're getting a lot of thank you letters. And we're happy to be doing that. We're also in cooperation with universities, with energy companies. This is a changing world right now. How are we utilizing that energy to support these buses, these trucks, these coaches? So we have a program working together, the US government, Innovate UK, and SSE as a power supplier to us. And then in 2019, just recently, we have actually launched these vehicles to be servicing on the London roads. So I think this is an example of success story about collaboration. Very quickly, here in Norway, we're very proud to be having buses running in Oslo and Romenica. And this is something that we're very proud of. And just recently, we have just concluded an order with an operator V for 55 buses. Sanitation, I mentioned earlier, why can't those vehicles be electric? They can be. Logistic vehicles, Why not? It's all possible. We're working with partners like DHL already. I mentioned earlier about the dumper trucks. There we go. They're actually running on the streets right now. Not only that, in the warehouse, at the docks, you need a lot of forklifts. They are now also electric. The seaports, the container movers, they can be electric as well. Airports, mines, and recently we have launched our electric rail system. What's different? A regular rail and our rail, these are electric battery rails, so that you don't actually have a power line on the rail itself, but the electricity is on the transportation SkyRail itself. So just very quickly, just going through, these are all the possibilities that we're looking at. And what do we bring to the society here? We are a local company. We are building up R&D centers here. We're creating local jobs. We build factories. We work with student programs. These are the future talents. And then we have partnership. And I think this is part of our success, being able to work together with partners and recognizing what the society needs. So I thank you very much for listening to me and staying awake after lunch. Thank you very much.
Mr. Ho, thank you very much. We have taken the liberty of calling you a game changer today, and you really are. Before you leave the stage, I would like to ask you a couple of questions.
Certainly.
BYD is a Chinese company. What differs the markets in China from markets in Europe when it comes to making a shift in technology and transportation?
I think the Chinese government woke up to the fact that, if you recall, about 10 years ago, there were a lot of bad articles about how bad the air quality was in China. They've woken up to that, and they wanted to make some changes. Government mandates, commitment of government funding, changing of legislations. So in 2010, for example, the government decided to launch 800 electric buses in Shenzhen. And today, 9 years later, 17,000 electric buses running in the city of Shenzhen. Same thing with taxis. So the government mandate that really helped to push that forward. So I think this is the biggest difference. In here, I realize that sometimes we will have to work with the different unions, labor unions, drivers unions, and also with the government. So this is something that we're paying very much attention to.
In order to launch large fleets of electric buses and, maybe even more important for us, heavy-duty vehicles in freight transport in Europe in the coming years, what, in your opinion, is needed from policymakers?
Policymakers need to wake up. It is important for policymakers to recognize this. The time is right now. Because look at the transportation outside, the BMW i3s, the Leafs. 50% of new registered vehicles today are already electric vehicles. Why not heavy goods vehicles? The partners need to support us. The OEM partners, the transportation partners, they need to support us. And I think the government needs to step in and legislate to make sure that these partners can help that industry to grow. And I think finally, I mentioned earlier about the schools and students. Those are our future. We need to work together with these students and the future.
Mr. Ho, again, thank you very much for coming to Norway and for being here at our conference. A big hand for Mr. Isbrand Ho, please.